I'm currently a trustee at Asylum Welcome here in Oxford, where we are making welcome asylum seekers and refugees who find their way to Oxford and need help and advice and support in various ways. In the 1990s, I was working for Oxfam, and at that time I was Emergencies Director of Oxfam, responsible for our emergency programs, humanitarian relief in different places all over the world. It included Bosnia, where we were working in the Muslim majority areas of Bosnia, helping mostly Muslim refugees from the conflict in other parts of Bosnia. And I was visiting our office in Tuzla, one of the cities in Bosnia, where we were helping people who were displaced with basic shelter, clothing, and some food. We were aware that there was fighting around Srebrenica, but it had been declared a safe area by the UN some year or two before, and there were some UN soldiers stationed there, so we didn't anticipate that the Serb forces would attack it. In the event they did and overran it. The people who had fled there because it was a safe area were all under their control. They were separated into women and children and men, and the women and children were bundled onto buses and came to Tuzla. It may have gone to other places too, but certainly many of them came to Tuzla, where we tried to help as best we could, receiving busloads of women actually on the airport where they were to be accommodated in temporary shelter, and we were helping a lot of distressed, hungry, tired, exhausted women with distressed children, just to help them to settle down. The lasting memory for me of that is the relative futility of providing blankets and food and things, all of which are very basically necessary, when all the women wanted was action to help and save their men. And we had assumed that the men would be perhaps corralled in kind of concentration camps, which had happened, or would be driven out, as the women had been, out of the area in an ethnic cleansing operation. But it was a tragedy for us that all we can provide is not any action to save or help their men, not any information even about them, but some humanitarian assistance. And of course it was extremely distressing as the reality of what was happening to those men first rumoured and then became clear. It was a very distressing situation for everyone. No one anticipated, first of all, that Srebrenica would be overrun, and secondly, that the men and boys would be killed as they were. We need to reflect on the outrage at Srebrenica, because there are still people today who are fleeing conflict and war and looking for sanctuary and safety, and are being obstructed and corralled and prevented and turned back because they are different from the majority of the countries that they're approaching. And we need to be speaking out in a sense in commemoration of the people who suffered in Srebrenica, for those people, to our governments, to be more generous in our giving asylum to people in such distress who want to contribute to the societies they're coming to and don't intend to be burdens for any longer than they can be. The Srebrenica charity in the UK asks us to make a number of pledges in commemoration of the massacre at Srebrenica. I'm particularly struck by the first one. We pledge that when we hear the language of us and them, we'll reach out and find common cause with our neighbours.